Every time you do that, I think that you're flamenco dancing.
Oh, really?
That's what it feels like.
It is very much like that, isn't it?
I just feel like you're gonna click your feet. Went from flamenco dancing to bull to bullfighting, but it's okay.
All right, hold on. Welcome back, guys. This is a completely random fucking. We're trying something different. It is going to be just, we're shooting the shit. We want to start off your week. If this is out on Monday. I actually don't know if it's out on Monday yet. Haven't decided. I'm here with Cid Fernandez. He was on another episode with us, and we're just going to, I don't know, talk shit and not take life too serious, which I don't feel like the podcast is right now, but, you know.
I would say there's a little bit of seriousness. Even podcasts like this that pretty much take their own shape during the hour long that we have.
Yeah.
Sometimes on Mondays.
Yeah. Now, if you guys get easily offended, please do not listen to these episodes.
Turn away now.
Listen to the guest ones. Like, you know, if you get offended by talking about poop, penises, like.
And we've taken that first turn.
We've taken that first turn. And everything in this is just complete bullshit. We don't mean any, like 100% of what we say, we do not believe in.
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah,
100%. It's not 100%. I think that nothing in this world is 100%. There's no finite. I think that there's going to be some things that we believe in, but at the end of the day, most of it's jokes, I think. I think it's just humor.
Well, I just, nothing I say is true, so.
I guess that's true too. I think no, I'm not even gonna go there. Hi, how are you?
How you going?
Oh, you know.
I'm just gonna start this off. So I had Melody on the other day, and so she gave me more of these cupcakes, and holy fuck! So if anyone hasn't seen Melody's episode, listen to her. But this woman, she'll make your mouth orgasm. So. It tastes so good, it'll make your mouth orgasm.
You know, the last time we did a podcast together, it took us maybe about 2.5 minutes to get to a sexual innuendo, and you took it there within a minute and a half. That's a new world record. So before I do what Blake did and just completely deep throat like we're supposed to do with these microphones because they're not omnidirectional. Gotta really put it in front of me. I'm gonna analyze this. So I'm gonna tell you something, right? So I'm not a cupcake fan, not even a cake fan. But what I find to be so intriguing.
I knew you were a pussy.
Very. You ever seen that Office episode where he's explaining, you went from a cake, now you want a cupcake? Where are you gonna stop with these people? But there's this golden crisp around the top layer of this cupcake, and I find it to be fascinating because it even has that gloss. And then the black rose on top, I'm not gonna tell you what that looks like. It looks delicious, but it looks like a certain emoji that you sent me earlier.
I've already finished the cupcake?
I know. And I'm trying to be thorough about this and not look like an absolute animal and behemoth eating this. And then, like I mentioned to him earlier, this little tinfoil gold looks to be so intriguing. It's very intricate. The piping is actually, speaking about piping, keep sipping and you look at that.
It's good to know that we're not a mature couple.
Wow. Like this is, I mean, it's exquisite. I really love the work on this. So now I'm going to deep throat it.
Holy fuck, you weren't joking about that. It's amazing. This is why you have just made me realize I don't want a beard. Because there is more cupcake in your beard than in your mouth right now.
You want some cupcake or cream?
Was it good?
There's just so much black cream on my beard right now.
Yeah. Did you taste the cream in the middle of it?
No.
See, that's the problem with you just deep throating a cupcake.
No, that's interesting. Have you ever seen people cut the cupcake in half and then make a sandwich of it?
A cupcake sandwich? No.
Yeah, so what people do, will get the cupcake, which obviously we ran out of them. They
very quickly.
They cut the cupcake in half. And they take the bottom half and then they squish it onto the top and they make like a cupcake sandwich. Have you ever seen that before? It must be a cultural thing. Or, I don't know. But I just seen people do it. And I find it to be so interesting because I never learned it until I was here in Naples. And then someone did it in front of me. And I appreciated their artistry. It was interesting.
Cupcake sandwich. Why is it so Americans just seem to ruin everything when it comes to food? I'm going to say it right now. It's like every single thing with like everything that's edible, if Americans like two things, rather than just enjoy them separately, it's let's mash them together. And all of a sudden you've got some chocolate infused pretzel bite mixed with a cupcake. You know, but then it comes in a package, so it's not even like it's some sort of cuisine food.
Why can't we just keep lines within everything and enjoy them separately?
Yeah, fuck diversity and fuck like multiculturalism in food. Keep them separate because they're so good individualistically.
The one example always comes to my head is a burger with donuts. I'll never understand that.
See, that's an American thing.
And we just overindulgers. That's what we do. There's never a limit. Remember that who was it? My God, what's his name? The guy who played Ray. Famous singer,
Jamie Foxx?
Thank you. Why? Kept thinking Steve.
Steve?
Yeah, way off on that one. But he always talked about that one comedic special. He talked about that's the motherfucking edge right there, man. That's the motherfucking edge. He's like, give me the crack, right? That's what we do. We don't know how to just say, hey, you know what? I think it's really good where it's at. Like we have to push the boundaries and limits and see how much diabetes and how many levels of diabetes we can get to.
It is wild, but it very, very rarely tastes better. Like that's maybe I'm just got like a simple palate. But like, I like my steak and potatoes. But I don't know. It's just there's something about that mixing of too much shit that it just tastes trash to me. There's a fakeness to it as well. Like they never really seem to like blend the two. Holy crap! Why am I coughing so much? That cupcake hit the back of my throat. We're both jogging here.
Yeah, it's been absolutely terrible. I don't know why we do it.
It's always trash.
But don't you think it's like a one-up thing? Like we're always trying to do something that's shock and awe. Don't you think that a lot of it comes from that? I think some people can perfect it. I think certain people that have a culinary artistry can do things where there's an implementation, but it's not this massive, gaudy combination. Again, 2 massive glazed donuts or 2 massive cinnamon buns with 2 hamburger patties. There's no attraction to that, aside from possibly a quadruple bypass and to see how that all works out.
I think it's like, what is it? It comes from laziness is my theory. Because, well, you got to think. The other day, Stace and I, for Father's Day, we made this, we made pasta from scratch. She roped me into it. It was a Father's Day gift that I didn't want, which was hilarious, by the way. I'm just going to take a quick tangent. She kept asking me, what do you want to do for Father's Day? I was like, nothing, I want to work. And she says, no, but what do you want to do for Father's Day? I'm like, I just fucking told you. That it became... It wasn't a Father's Day anymore. It was like, no, you have to enjoy being a father. Because she goes to me, you wanted to be a father so bad. And I go, not so I could have a Father's Day. I wanted a father for the kid.
My life is complete. Had Father's Day, that's it, I'm done, return her.
So anyway, the forced gift of me having to make my own pasta, for starters. Oh yeah, if you guys can hear something right now, Sid's on a Zoom call. Like he's present, but he's not actually there.
I'm listening. As I eat the last little piece of Melody's cupcake off this table.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
You will, anyway. So yeah, the difference with it was just 2 ingredients. It was English.
You put too much emphasis on the wrong syllable.
Yeah. All it was flour, more flour, egg, and more flour were the ingredients.
It's got to be good.
Yeah. And then you put it through a machine and then you finish it with flour. It tastes so much. I know. The ingredient sheet was very vast.
It was long.
It was long. But we're fucking dying here.
I don't know why. I think it's this fucking rug behind us.
Maybe.
Did you get it from a?
I skinned a cow.
Really?
A fluffy cow.
It looks like a
Labrador.
It looks like Ron Jeremy was trying to raise money for his legal team, and you bought his fucking rug.
Really? I thought you were gonna say that I took the hair off his back.
No, I don't think. Man, with his darker hair that he's got, I don't think that's it.
Do you know I've met Ron Jeremy?
No way.
Yeah, dude.
He seems like a weird guy in person. Honestly.
Honestly, it's so funny. So I was in LA 10 years ago now, and we're at some fucking club, and you know when it's like you have a double take because you're like, I know that face, and like, you know, I'm like, you know, like we were saying before, like once you see the face, you know the penis. Like That's how I
That's
recognize
actually
it.
perfect. That's going to be a quote on some meme one day that someone
like-
uses for inspiration.
Yeah, I'm like, I've seen that guy before. I was like, wait, he's clothed.
It's so weird seeing you without your dick out. Is that your
was.
first statement?
Yeah, it was. I went to give him a high five and his penis just came up and hit me instead.
It actually looked like this.
Oh man, that is vile.
Bloom.
Oh fuck. I think that's out of shot. Here you go, guys. Here's the reference if you're watching it. He pointed at my vile plume, which if you turn it upside down, it's closer to being what it is. It's got a purple
It's a
head.
very odd shaft. so like.
His balls in there.
This is exactly the turn that we were looking for. Whatever time it was, market.
Now you've ruined vile plume for me. I've realized it's just an upside down penis.
You're gonna look at him like Ron Jeremy, and I was like, ugh.
Gosh. Anyway, the dude is short, man. Like, as in, I'm 5'10", but this guy was like up to my shoulders, which immediately I just was like, this dude must be like 50% dick. Because
But do you think his dick is bigger because of his height? Like, do you think that if his dick would be as admired if he was 6'2"?
I think it's not relative to the guy. It's more relative to, the other counterpart. And, like, that's where my research came from. It was more like comparison to the victims.
I like how you put it that way, as victims. In some of those movies.
Bro, that thing is a weapon.
In certain, yes, in actually 32 countries, it actually is.
Like, if he turns
It
around
is.
too quickly, it's assault.
Looking like fucking, what was that, a fruit ninja?
We should do that.
Sounds like a Japanese, one of those Japanese game shows.
Yeah, like see how far you can hit the watermelon.
Have you met any other porn stars?
Not
Not that you have maybe not have a vast, maybe you do.
that's all I meet.
I bumped into one, and it's funny we get into this. We went from this wholesome Father's Day where you made pasta with a lot of flour ×5.
Yeah, how did we get on that?
I don't know. We went to Ron Jeremy somehow. We went and they just took a really hard left turn. Don't know how, but we're here. Maybe
Yeah.
we thought about linguine, long.
Are you talking about his penis with the hard left turn? I'll stop.
Oh, he's going to be taking a hard left turn soon in prison. But I actually met one, and I acted so incredibly awkward.
Was it a he or a she?
No, it was a she.
Oh,
I don't
that's
know if I'd ever
why.
approach a dude. I mean, maybe. Like, bro code, Hey, I've seen your penis. Pleasure to meet you. I cannot ever say her... Dushima? I don't know. It's a very weird and oddly... Listen, yes, I was very active with my forearms in my formative years. And I knew her, and I acted like so weird because there's no fucking book. There's no like, hey, how-to guide to meeting a porn star in town. And she was on the military base while I was there. Like, she was on the military base. This was at Lackland. This was at Lackland Air Force Base in San Antonio.
Hold on. So what the fuck?
And I
who
saw her.
organizes that meet and greet?
It wasn't a meet and greet. It
That's
wasn't.
a government-
He wasn't signing fucking DVDs in the middle of the
like-
BX.
It's like a government thing. Like, hey guys, we need to really like boost the morale for the troops. Who can we bring? I've got an idea. Like the president. Nah, we need something
No.
better.
What about a governor?
Porn star.
Porn star.
Porn
Yes,
star.
that's really gonna get them juices flowing. So
That'll get them raising the
we
guns.
really shift the PTSD from their minds to their fucking wrists. But yeah, she was there. I guess she was eating dinner or having lunch with her husband or it was a gentleman, seemed her age. I don't know. Whatever. She ended up getting up, and I was like, that's definitely her. And me being the fucking creep, I actually bumped into her in an aisle. I said, hey, I know you. And like, I didn't want to say, like, it was so weird. It was the weirdest exchange, and I'm so good with words. I was terrible with them there. And she's like, no, you don't. I go, no, I do. So it's like, just fucking get it out. Could never get it out. I just said thank you in a very awkward tone.
Have you seen what is it? Trevor Wallace does that with Emily Willis. And it's so funny where it's like he doesn't want to say how he met her. And he's just, oh, fuck, I'm going to botch it.
Now I want to watch
It's
it.
fantastic. He's just like, oh, I know you. She's like, oh, yeah, like, where from? And he's just like, oh, stepbrother. She's like, oh, you know my stepbrother. He's like, no. But like, she goes, oh, I'm stuck. He goes, oh, yeah, stuck, like stuck in the laundry. And she's like, oh, you work at the laundromat. He's like, no.
There's just no how-to guide. I mean, there's been people who are so suave about meeting a porn star. I think now I'd act completely different. I don't care anymore. But at that age, I just did not know how to approach that.
Point the penis at you more. There we go. Yeah. You got to make sure. It's a little bit too close.
Oh, I have cream in my face. Going back to the wholesome one too, because I had the same conversation with my wife, and she woke up. She said, "Hey, let's go have breakfast." I go, "No, let's reel it back in. Let's just chill here at the house. I don't want to do shit." And she wakes up, is like, "What do you want to do? It's Father's Day. Like, you need to do something." I go, "If a father on Father's Day tells you he doesn't want to do anything, hang, chill, watch a movie maybe, and you guys are fighting that, there's an issue here." But I told her, let's get blazed and play Mario Kart, my brother. Like, invite everybody over and let's do.
That's a good Father's Day.
Dude, if I can get an entire group of people to just come to my house, spark up, and just have some Mario Kart, that literally is a legit perfect day for me.
Yeah.
Especially on Father's Day.
It is funny how it's like you kind of forced. It's weird how if you don't want to celebrate it, you're weird. Like my wife, her family, they love the events. I hate them. My birthday, I put something together because I was just like, you know what? I want to hang out with just it was a group of 4 or 5 people. That was it. For me to even want to do that is freaking rare. Like, so rare. But then when it comes to like Father's Day, Mother's Day, like all those events that I'm terrible with. Gifts, not a thing. So like, because that's not my love language. Like everyone, my wife talks about love languages all the time, but gifts is not my thing. Which I wish I kind of were a little bit, because like these lights were a gift. I didn't think I needed them. Then Stacey goes, "I got this," and I'm like, that paid itself off very well. But I don't know. I'm just fucking
Never looked
terrible with all those events. Even with my like Christmas, I'm just like, because there's so much pressure. Like, you're opening up the gifts in front of everyone, and I don't know about you. So Stacey, if I'm not fucking crying, if I'm not like, "Oh my God, this is amazing," she's like, "You don't like it, do you?" I was like, "No, I like it." But like, that's my enjoyment. I'm like, I'm very introverted that I know it kills her inside, but I can't be like, "Oh my God.
Yay!"
I'm not like that.
That was actually really good, though.
I'm pretty good, yeah.
That was really...
I am an actor. But yeah, anyway, so...
The training just came in and kicked in.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't even... Like, this watch was a gift, but I planted that gift. I was like, "Hey, how cool is this watch?" Like 2 weeks before my birthday.
Very smart, though.
And she's like, "Don't buy it." I'm like, "I wonder why."
And then you open up, it's Liquid Death. It's like, fuck, I got the fucking watch anyway.
Well, she needs to do that more. So I did that with her last Christmas. She kind of knew what she was getting, because again, she was just like, "Hey," actually, it wasn't even that. She said, "Can you get this for Christmas?" It wasn't even planned, because she knew if you did a plant, I wouldn't have like
picked it up. You're not picking up what she's putting down. You know what I'm saying?
No, I was picking up what she was putting down. I just chose.
You put it back down?
Yeah, I put it back down. I was like, "Nope," because she'd be like, "Blake,
no.
how nice is this?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool," but it's like it was $300 face jewelry thing that didn't make any sense. And for me, I'm being a selfish husband in this scenario, and it was just, I was looking at it going, "Why the fuck do you need this?" And she's won it twice since Christmas, because it's like more of a specialty thing. Anyway, it's so small that I was like, you know what? I went out to the garden, got a box. The box was in the house, not the garden. But went and just put a shitload of rocks in. So like when she got it, it was fucking heavy. And then she's like, "Oh, thanks." And then she got a few more other shitty things on the top. She's like, "Oh, thanks." And then boom, reveal. Fucking great husband. But again, the surprise was taken because she was like, "I knew you were going to buy me that." I was like, "Yeah, because you had your father and your mother gang up on me saying I need to buy it for you." Like, it was a organized attack.
But I think that the whole reason why I think a lot of people aren't gift people is because it's become too materialistic. It has become a one-up thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a part of a family. You know, my family wasn't like that. They gave each other gifts, but I'm from Miami. I would get, in some cases, sweaters and turtlenecks for Christmas. Like, why the fuck would you do that? Aside from just going to Marshall's and saying, "Oh shit, there's Christmas and there's a sale." My wife's family, they're over the top and they're one-upping everybody in the family. So everything is nuts. So there's nothing that comes from like the heart. It comes from, I really like this jewel, or I really like this bracelet, or I really like this sweater, or these pair of jeans and this. But nothing has taken shape to like it came from the heart, like something that you remember 10 years ago, a memory that was represented. And usually those, to be very frank, are usually a lot cheaper, but there's no thought that goes into it. It's mostly a compulsive buy. I go in, I was like, this looks really fucking nice. She's going to fucking love it. Let me just buy it. Like, there's no thought to it. And I know that I'm terrible with it. Shit, it took me like 12 years to get another Christmas gift to my wife. I'm terrible about that shit. I did like the reverse fucking Hanukkah. Like, rather than giving multiple gifts in 1 year, I just went multiple years without giving a gift. And that's how it was. And I'm a shitty gift giver. I just am. I'm not thinking about it, but I don't want it to be materialistic. I don't want to just buy you a fucking chain. I just think that's stupid.
Yeah. That's where my wife's got me beat, dude. She'll get me shit that I don't know I need. And it's like, at first I'm like, oh, cool, thanks. And then she will give me a gift where it's like, I start realizing like, fuck, this was good. Like I said, the lights, the bag, which I use for my cameras, she's like, at first I was like, oh, that's cool. And now I'm like, this is fucking great because I take it everywhere with me. And she's done that with so many gifts. And then meanwhile, I'm like, it's like the opposite. Like, so she'll give me a gift that I will use every fucking day. She'll ask me for a gift that she'll never fucking use. And so it's like the opposite outcome happens for us, where I'm like, you kidding me? I spent $300 on a one-wear item, and she's like, sweet, I spent $300 on something you're using every single fucking day. And
that's where the balance comes from.
Yeah. Nah, she's got it good in terms of gifts giving. She almost bought me an $800 watch the other day, and I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, don't. She goes, yeah, I'm just waiting. I go, okay, for starters, unnecessary. But I will wear it more than you wear your face and my stuff.
Because it was a one-off.
Yeah.
I don't even wear watches. It's the worst. She's bought me one watch in our time, and I told her, don't ever buy me like jewelry or anything like that because I don't wear it. I used to be into the fucking rubber band bands, you know, like the ones with Live Strong, until we figured out that he wasn't living very strong. He was living illegally. But good for him. He did raise a lot of money for cancer.
To be fair, he gets a little bit of leeway. Like the dude had what? One testicle, two testicles,
and that's hard.
Imagine leaning. Two like it's abnormal. I mean,
he had two testicles.
He had two testicles.
Weird.
That's normal, right?
That's a conversation I have with Ron Jeremy. Yeah, and just like I'm not into jewelry. Like she got me an Apple Watch because it was a deal. Because if she upgraded to her phone, she got an Apple Watch. I've worn that Apple Watch 5 times.
But Apple Watches are shit. You're not talking about like watches. Like an Apple Watch for me, they are the. It's just an iPhone for your wrist that just perpetuates an addiction. To your phone, and also you don't use like people that are like, oh, I use it for texting. I'm like, why? Get your phone out of your pocket, you lazy fuck. You know? Or they're like, I'm counting my steps. I'm like, go to the gym, fatty.
What was that? What was the thing
your
with
watch ain't making you fitter?
What was that do with Will Ferrell where he opened up the little phone? It was on SNL, and that's what I felt like every time using it. Like, why the fuck would you text on a watch?
And that's the thing that I hate about those watches is it's like, you got this, and this. Wouldn't that be great? And it's like, great, but I don't use any of it. Like, you really only need it for the time. And even that, half the time I forget I have a watch and I just pull it out. Like, it's jewelry for me without, like having to wear face jewelry.
I love my sister-in-law very, very much. She's like a little sister to me. But when they said the reason I have an Apple Watch is in the case that my phone's in another room, I can read my text messages. Or if I'm in a meeting, I can look at my text messages.
That's addiction.
See, that's really bad. It's
not only that, it vibrates on your wrist too. Like you get phantom.
I found another reason for it. I'm gonna go to the Apple Watch.
Just put it around. Like, oh, text me.
It's not an Apple Watch. It's an Apple cock ring. Thank you so much. And then I'm gonna call it I came. Wow. Okay. There it is.
All right, we're going that way. But yeah, no, you gotta wear watches, dude. They
I just can't, dude. The restriction on my wrist. I sweat a lot. I hate it. I never have liked watches. I flew even in the military. I flew, and every single guy I flew with always wore watches. I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I had them for a little bit where I'd flip it like this just so I can know the time when I'm doing calculations on my, flying or whatever as an engineer. And that's about it, dude.
It's such a military position too, putting it on the inside of your wrist.
And you know it's funny.
Which is so funny because like that is not.
It's no different
That's
than
not-
this.
Literally, like what energy are you saving?
I don't think it's energy, but I want you to think about now we're going to dig a little bit deeper into our cerebral cortexes. Think about how your hands are normally not resting like this. I rarely see people rest their hands like this. Usually interlocked or maybe on top. Doing things, when you're doing things, you're not really looking as I knock this black, microphone. I've never really turned like this. It's always doing something where I'm turned. So if you think about it, it's not that it's more energy. It's just you most likely can see it with a lot less movement.
Yeah, but there is something cool, like especially when you have like a long sleeve. I love being like, like.
Oh,
I get to temporarily punch the air. Everyone's like, fuck. And they're like, oh, shit, he has a watch.
But it blings out of nowhere. You go from like this flat and unbrillante surface, and all of a sudden you whip it out, and you've got, ice on your wrist like you're a Cash Money millionaire. And then all of a sudden you whip it out.
I just realized right now, I'm pretty much dressed like a fucking Jersey Shore character.
No way, dude. There's no way that anybody from the Jersey Shore would wear that shit. They want t-shirt time. You're wearing, it's like a combination of like a fisherman and Jack Harlow.
Yeah, I got it from H&M actually.
H&M?
Yeah, $6, bro. H&M's fine. Wait, no. Yes.
H&M. So they have like.
I think it was Bell's. Bell's, is it?
Oh, I love Bell's Outlet. They're
Maybe Bell's
amazing. If
Outlet?
you haven't been there, go there. It's like the new TJ Maxx. It's amazing. You know what's
Maybe
interesting?
It was TJ. I don't know. It was one of those ones.
We're just gonna continue just going through many places. I've been there. I think that was it.
That was the
what I
one.
find interesting is there's all these references to Michael Jordan. There isn't a single thing of the jump man.
Yeah, someone said that it was like a 23 or something all over it. I just literally this morning. I never
It's
noticed.
just a bear. It kind of looks like Jay-Z,
Yeah.
like a younger Jay-Z.
I dig it.
I mean, don't get it twisted. I actually like it. I wouldn't wear it myself. It's just too much. And we talked about ADD with your buddies from before. That would blow my fucking mind. I like solid colors because it keeps my brain simple.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, that's a lot, but I actually dig it. But is it cotton?
I don't know.
You wearing it correctly? Because that's not where I read my.
I don't know. Either way,
It's interesting.
it stays on, which is good.
That's a good thing. That would be a weird podcast, or maybe it wouldn't.
I don't know. Actually, I let it in the Mazuko podcast the other day. I don't know if you
tell me
listened
how
to
that
it.
went.
It was cool.
I have it queued up on YouTube. I was very busy yesterday.
Yeah, that was good. It's doing numbers. Numbers for this podcast on YouTube. I think it's had all over 60 views already, but the average view time is 20 minutes.
That's actually really good.
Yeah, so particularly how it's starting out, but it was funny because I told him mid-thing, I can't remember how it came up, but I was like telling him how I've been to sex parties. And he's so I've got now at least 60 people have been like, all right, this is cool. This is Josh Mazuko's first podcast. Let's see how it goes. And it's like, oh, now he's talking about this random Aussie dude who's talking about sex parties. But yeah, let's dive further into that one.
I'm sure that was something you said at those sex parties.
Yeah, not as much as you think. Sex parties are weird, man. Like, when I met Stacy was 4 years celibate. I had just come from a sex party the day before. And so that's why she knows everything about me, which I love because my whole thing is if you own what you've done, and I don't chalk it up as like, it's not like, oh, I went to the sex party. I'm like, yeah, I went to it. It was cool, but also there was a shitload of stuff I realized that I didn't enjoy about it. I had to go 3 or 4 times to figure that out, but
It was a mistake. You went 4 times.
Well, the first one I wasn't into it as much as it wasn't until I realized the one that I had so much fun at was the one I was drunk at. And when I wasn't drunk at, it wasn't as fun. And that's when I realized I was like, oh yeah, fuck, this isn't like I think like society tells you, especially dudes, it's like, oh, you want to bang all these chicks and fuck everyone and be around everything. Then I realized I was going there more for the story because, it's a funny story. Like, wait, you went to one of those things? And I would even my personal training clients knew about it. Like, I'm talking like people in their 50s. They'd be like, yeah, I'm going to a sex party on the weekend. They'd be like, what? Your life is interesting. So then after that, the next day or the next session I would have with them would be so funny because you could tell, like, I wouldn't bring it up.
And they're dying.
You could see because they're like just working out slowly. They're like, oh, what? And then I remember one, like Sonia, my client, her husband, she trains with Wayne as well. And he's like, Blake, how was the party? I can just see she wants to know. How was it? And I'm like, how much detail do you want to know for starters?
It's just like our sales plan. So do you want the first tier? Do you want the introductory rate? Or would you like the full-blown everything peeled back? Yeah. Sex parties are interesting.
Yeah.
And you made there's a really good point that you made with this thing. Like there's this hovering thing because I think we make sex really taboo in this country, even though I think we're getting more progressive in that sense. We've talked a little bit more about sex, a little bit more uncovered. But we really do have an issue. Like here, we used to like jerk off to like scattered porn at like 10 and 11 because like a nipple would be floating looking like a pong.
Oh, a nipple.
A nipple looked like Pong, an Atari. Like, oh my God, the nipple's like traveling. And it was just like, right? And
I just got this picture of someone going,
what's that one thing where they have the big scoreboard and it's like when the thing finally hits the corner, yes! And it's actually nipple. That's what happened back in the day, right? We do, but sex parties are very interesting because the people who go there are ridiculous characters, and you have to think you're talking about people that are so comfortable, and in most cases, at least the ones that I've been to in my past during times that my wife and I were not together, I need to make sure that I address that, but men are usually completely butt naked, and it's optional for the women, at least in the parties that I've attended.
There's a lot of cashews. Like that was one thing I remember talking to one girl
in a bowl.
No.
Oh.
Like I don't know. I found it just weird. One, it was so many of them were performative. It was more about like a lot of the women were pretending to be into it. Like it was like the classic shitty porn. We're like, yeah. And I'm watching it. I remember talking to this girl, Nikki, great girl.
Wow, Nikki.
She was great.
Sorry, nothing about. I mean, that's just like it's just Nikki. My God, that could have been picked right out of a fucking.
Okay, I got a great story about Nikki. This is a fun one. Shout out Nikki. So,
2Ks.
I'm talking to this chick, and like this is the funny part where I'd be there and I'd be like having more conversations than I would be doing anything else. I'd be like, "How you been?" Literally, it was like this. Meanwhile, while people are just doing the nasty like next to us, I'm like, "So what do you do for your life?"
And you go, have the conversation. Just have the conversation. Like pretend I'm Nikki.
Yeah,
go.
No, but I'd be like I had a towel because I couldn't walk around naked. Pretty much. So tell me more about what you do. Oh, that was a violent one. But yeah, so
that one hurt.
So I'm talking to this girl for ages, just like, and we were basically saying the same thing. Like it was her first one. I was a couple in, but I was like basically saying, I'm like, I just don't like these. Like it was so many years of build up. You know when like you like, oh, I've always wanted to be one. I want to go to these. These are great. Like this is how life should be. It's promiscuous. It's this. It's that. And then I had this realization. I was like, I'm not. So I'm having this conversation with good old Nikki, and she ends up going, you know what? I'm going to go make a move on someone. And I was like, fuck yeah, girl, go. And so I watch her. She's walking over, and she like finds her. She's actually going to talk to a girl. And I was like, all right, props, power to you. And she walks over. She goes to sit down, like like a lustrous way, like, hey, how you going? Sit.
How are you going? Wow. Is that? How's it going? How you going?
So I go down.
Hopefully soon.
So I watch this all unfold, and she walks down, goes to sit down on him, and she goes to sit on this cushion, and the cushion it has no back to it. But so she goes to sit down, sits on it. Meanwhile, mid like introduction, like, hey, how you go? We're both feet in the air, like, and she's naked too. So all you see is just like, well, good morning, and like his legs in the air into the fireplace. No fire, thank fuck. Like just head into
straight soot.
Head into the fireplace, and she's like, that did not go how I thought it was gonna go.
That was smooth.
Poor Nikki.
Smooth. Now, was this here or was this in Australia?
I was Australia. No, this was like I met Stacey in Bali. So I went to that party, and then I'm talking to my mates at the house because it was in Sydney on a Saturday, and then I flew on Sunday to Bali. And this whole time my friends are going, bro, you need to meet this chick, Stacey. It's going to be fucking hilarious. And I was like, why? And they wouldn't tell me. because they thought it was going to be like a full disaster because she's like full, 4 years celibate, not into that stuff at all. And then you got me, just literally have walked out of a party to a plane to Bali. And I'm just like, all right. And so the very first thing she ever heard me talk about was that sex party.
And that's what made her fall in love with him.
I think so. But it was like from that day, there's no point in me pretending. Can you sit that down a bit? This lady is talking very loud in that Zoom call.
No, I'm telling you, it carries. It's done. Whoops.
Yeah, so I just ended up just saying to her, I was like, okay, one, there's no point me pretending anything, which I've never been a fan of anyway, but pretty much the worst part now. So as our relationship went on, even in the first few months, like she knows everything. She knows the names of a bunch of my ex-girlfriends. She knows the stories. She's even met a couple of them. And I used to say to her, like, people always be like, is this weird? Like, how can he just talk? Like, so as I'm telling stories about my exes, I'm smiling. But I explained to her, I'm like, I enjoy those moments. It doesn't mean I want to be back with them because I know where I am now, but I really look back on those moments fondly. And for me to pretend like I didn't, like, you can't tell me that every moment with every ex was terrible. That's bullshit. It's
horseshit.
Yeah, and so that was the cool thing with Stacey is she's more open to it. I've also been able to communicate to her too. I'm like, these are over. But I'm going to tell you funny stories. Like, she knows the stories about that girl falling back in the thing. She knows some other things too, like that are like details. You know, when you said you offered the package of how much do you want to know? She knows the premium package for a lot of them. And it's more just like she goes, because she never did that it's interesting to her. She's like, wait. So you
it's like
did this
living
and that.
vicariously. That's all.
Yeah, but also like she's similar to me, which is why I started the podcast. Where I was like, I'm just interested in people, and so if you've got some fucked up stories, like I'm not gonna judge you. I want to know about it because it's so fucking fascinating, and we're all flawed. And again, that's why I lead with like this is 100% me, because if you know that I'm not gonna hide anything, then it's a safe place, which I fucking hate. Like, it's a safe place, everyone can hold hands. But I don't think people should be ashamed of anything they've done.
But don't you think that's one of the reasons why why our relationships are falling apart? The more and more we've been able to get put in smoke and mirrors, and really social media is that, right? And even back in the day, people have always hid things. It's not something new. We just have the bigger ability to present a brand that's much different than what we are and layer it, because you can be whatever you want. There are a lot more actors nowadays because of the way you can post and divert people's attentions away what's really going on, right? And that's one of the biggest struggles. My wife and I being in one of the best times we've ever been in a relationship, she probably knows 10 times more about me today than she did when we first got married at 19. And then years later, like, listen, we've been through the ringer in our relationship, and I'm one that lives. Like, she very much lives kind of more like tiptoe. I'm just like, that's fire. Let's go head fucking first. And then let's douse myself in gasoline. Let's just see what fucking happens. And I mean, dude, I've gotten the stories now, and I think being 35, it's just different. Like, we got a kid in the way. Like, does it really matter?
You're only a year older than me. Fuck.
30. I know. I look fucking old
I age
as
well.
shit.
You age shit, dude.
I just discovered liquid death, but it looks like I've been drinking it for years. If you look at my face, but no, dude. Like, even the sex thing. Like, dude, first time I ever went to a sex party was probably over a decade ago. The next one was in DC. The one in DC wasn't a party where you walked in and you were a part of it. That one was more of an artistry, almost like an open mic of sex, if you think about it that way. People came and presented their fetishes. And when you talk to people, and they just kind of like, what are you a part of? Some satanic cult? It's like, no. But what people are doing is showing off what their fetishes are, because we all got shit. We just hiding it from everybody. I just kind of wish we got to a point where we're just honest with the people that we're with, because again, we can have enjoyed moments with other people in our lives because we did, but you've got to have the testicular or the ovarian fortitude to be like, hey, those are just moments. I'm going to give you a much longer lasting love. It's a lot deeper than just the sexual part. And that got really deep and sentimental. But dude, those sex parties were fun because the people are just off the wall. Like you can meet some real chill people,
There's
and
some
then
loops, man.
and then
I had a girl. I watched a girl go off at her boyfriend for cheating on her at the sex party. There was so many fucking. I'm doing like calculus in my head trying to figure this shit out. I was like, what's going on? Hold on. 1, it was a sex party. 2, she brought him there. And 3, please refer to the first 2.
it's like Fight Club.
She was full blown going off at him. Where I was just like, this was the first one I went to.
What do you think she was saying to him? Can you reenact the argument? Really, just give me.
She was speaking high pitch, bitch.
Like, how do you take getting yelled at by your girlfriend who took you to this party while someone's getting double teamed in the fucking corner?
It's like, fuck you, fuck you.
Why the fuck did you do that?
She's like, I can't believe you did that.
Like, that's
I said you could have her, not her.
You fucking kissed her. I said dicks in only. And that's funny. I know people who are polyamorous, and they've told me that there are specific rules, and it's always, I respect the fact that they have a specific barrier. I just have never understood the barrier.
I completely understand it because I was in that to a degree. Like the way I got into that scene was when I was a stripper. We're learning a lot about Blake now. I wasn't like a full-blown stripper. Again, didn't want to show my cashew off. I was self-confident. No, I wasn't self-confident.
I don't think that. I think it went the other way. It's okay.
The other way.
We've been talking about peanuts for the last fucking 10 minutes, and I just realized what cashew meant. I'm like, I've been still stuck on the cashew comments. I was like, I have no clue.
Bro, what looks like a cashew when it's cold?
Mine doesn't look like that.
Really?
It looks more like that. Just not purple. It's just blue. It's fucking freezing in my house.
Yeah, I got into it by what was it? I started working as it was like a glorified topless waiter, and like you would do the strip shows, but you go down to underwear, and like that was my rule with, because I knew the owner of this strip club called Twin Peaks, which is hilarious that there's a Twin Peaks here.
Completely other way with the Peaks.
Yeah. Twin Peaks for a strip club makes more sense though.
It does.
Way more sense.
It does.
I don't think
not for a men's.
No. That was Twin Pecs was where I worked at. Twin Peaks was the female. Twin Pecs was the male one.
I get it.
So yeah. So the I knew her through Twin Peaks, and we used to go there because it wasn't like a strip on strip joint. It was you sat down, you had entrees, or you guys call them appetizers. It was like a full blown restaurant. Appetizers, strip show in between. You had laundry models the whole time, and then you had your mains, and the food was fucking legit. Like the food was so good.
Oh, I have a story about that. Continue on.
Yeah, and then you'd have another show, and then you could order dessert. Now dessert, you weren't ordering off the food menu. If you get what I'm saying, you were ordering the girls for a private show, and so we went there a couple of times. It was cool. It was different. It was very different. So
all I can get is the image of you walking out like happy birthday and then stripping. That's all I can see is like I'm in a Bennigan's and then here comes Blake Doyle stripping for me with my fucking like $10 dessert and a fucking candle.
So I used to love it when people walk in the strip into the Twin Peaks and they'd be like, Blake? I was like, what up?
Hey,
like, what the? You were like a prude. I'm like, okay, you didn't know me at all then. But anyway, so she hit me up. She's like, look, I'm hiring for Twin Pecs. It's the male version of Twin Peaks. And I was like, sorry, not a fan of, I just don't want to wave around the helicopter, in front of people. It's not fun. And she goes, no, I agree with you. Because I said to her, I'm like, look, I get it. Naked women, they're beautiful. They're like, God created women and then just went, fuck it when it came to men. Like he just, So I'm like, I get that, but I'm like, with dudes, I can appreciate a guy with underwear on. The second it comes off, you've got a sad elephant with like coming through a bush. Like he's just peeking through the bush.
Clever girl. Jurassic Park reference.
Nice. But so I said to her, I'm just not a fan of doing that. And she's like, I 100% agree with you. I actually don't find it attractive when dudes are fully naked. So it's actually it's a strip club, but it goes down to underwear. And I was like, all right, I'm listening. And by the way, this is years before I even knew my wife existed, guys. Just don't jump to conclusions here. Didn't even know she was in the world. So I said to her as well, like, I'm like, look, the only rule I've got too is that you can't use me for any promotional material. Like I don't want to be like, you can't have me in ads, you can't have me on social media, any of that. Not because at that time I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, and at the time I was like, I just want to be able to be like, all right, I can say I did or I didn't. It's also different when you see it. Like me talking about it, it's like, oh, that's funny. But when you see it, you're like, oh, it's kind of real. So she was in full agreement. That was great. Anyway, there was a Twin Peaks Christmas thing. And I met this girl, I'll keep her unnamed, and we were chatting, we were getting all like, we were getting along real well. And she goes, all right, well, I got to go. I really like you. Here's my number. We'll catch up. And I go, oh, cool. Wait, where are you going? She goes, oh, my boyfriend's picking me up. I was like, what? And like, how when you hear something like that, you kind of just like, because she was texting me so much, I was like, nah, I probably misheard her. That makes no sense. Until the first time we actually hooked up. And so we're at my house and she's like, what is it? I go, oh, who you texting? She goes, oh, my boyfriend. I'm like, what? I thought you were fucking lying. And she goes, no, I told you. And I was like, yeah, but do I have to worry about something now? Like, am I going to get bashed? And am I going to get bashed or something? She goes, oh, no, he knows I'm here. I'm like, oh. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And so she explained it further, and this is why I understand it. Now, I'm not saying, like, again, everyone's got different preferences, like some people will find how this is satanic, like some people think that women wearing skirts is offensive, and some people think that women should be allowed to, you believe what you believe. Same with relationships. Me even talking to a girl to some girls is considered cheating. So there's different lines we draw. And so the way she explained it to me was like, look, and I understand it, and I thought at the time I wanted that too, until I met my wife. I was like, no, I don't. I ain't sharing this chick. She's fucking mine. Fuck you guys. But she was saying like, we share our life together, but we're not enough one another physically to satisfy in perpetuity each other physically. And so therefore we share, we can go out and do whatever we want, but they still had rules, which was like, he has to know where I'm going. They had another rule, which is like, he has to I have to film so he can watch the video. I was like, that I'm not doing.
We're not getting a waiver out for this.
Yeah, no. She was like trying to get me to film, and I was like, absolutely fucking not. And I don't know, it was a real interesting thing where they had all these rules, which I was like, okay, fair enough. And I can get that. Like once you put your brain into like the whole, cheating is in the eye of the beholder. Like I've seen girls just like, I can be like, hey, how you going to a girl? And it's like, you fucking piece of scum. Rah! Whereas I'll get hit on and I'll come home like, Stace just got hit on by a girl. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah. She was awesome. My man still got it. Yeah, get fucked. So it made sense. And like they have been swinging for over a decade. Like that, and because obviously the go-to thing is like, well, that relationship's going to fall apart. And I go, until you've seen it, and because I saw it firsthand, now there's a lot of situations where it doesn't work. Like it's a very unique type of person for that to work.
Two people.
But everyone says, like, you can shit on those as much as you like, but hey, divorce rates are above 50%. So you can't tell me monogamy also is a foolproof scenario, But so during the relationship, I started developing feelings for her because we were hanging out like twice a week, and because I'd never met him, I was always in my head. I'm like, nah, she clearly feels to me like she's, this is gonna be something, and blah 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 blah. Like, oh my gosh, this is going somewhere. Her and I have a lot of interest, like similarities. It wasn't until I met him where it was like this grounding moment where I was like, oh, I get it, because first of all, he was just like, hey man, how you going? I was just like, you know, I hook up and I dented my headboard with your wife, like your girlfriend's, like, and he was just like, yeah, man, heard so much about you. I'm like, still weird. But it wasn't until I saw her look at him, and she looked at him in a way that she never looked at me. It was like puppy dog eyes. She was like clearly in love with him. And it was like this grounding thing where I was like, oh, I get it now. And it wasn't even comparable with what I thought her and I were to what he and her were.
I mean, think about this, right? So I think the biggest struggle is the self-esteem issue. And turn it again. Damn it. I'm just going to do this. Cup the balls while I'm doing this.
Tighten it there. The silver part.
The silver. Oh, that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, you got to tighten that one there.
And this is just, this just doesn't want to stay anything. I think it's just too heavy for itself. We're going to do this. So what kills me is
talking,
that,
I got another water.
Yeah, you're good, man. So it's funny to me how we look at that, and it's very interesting how the psyche allows them to do that, right? But if you think about it, they're way more open than people who aren't polyamorous. Polyamorous
So
are.
polyamorous is like you have an actual relationship, whereas a swinger
That's
is
right.
Polyamorous is like
you have multiple people. You're dating multiple people at one time, correct?
Yeah.
You have multiple relationships. So
whereas swingers is just sex.
So let's go to this. Let's go back to swinging, right? So swinging, it's very interesting to me because again, those people who understand it and agree to go into that lifestyle, they are honest with each other. This was happening.
Yeah.
Other people aren't. They're just not at all. So you're thinking about how these people, which we always say, trust, love, and really communication, right? And love is important, but it's not the most important because love comes and goes because you're changing as people, but they're honest. And that's huge, right? The ability to know that the person that's across from me, whether they're getting their head broken in against the headboard at my house or someone else's,
fuck, I'm gonna have to pay for that again.
Yeah, but it's honest. And so imagine the base of your relationship is honesty, whether you're fucking someone else outside the relationship or not. It's really interesting. Now, I wanted to hit on a point that you made about food at a strip club. So it's going to take a turn. Houston. We went to Houston, Texas. This was back in 2013. 2013 went to Houston. Was one of the guys, Finney Flights. For those guys who aren't a part of the military or been on flights, Finney Flights are the people who are retiring. It's their last trip that they're taking before retirement. So we ended up going to, actually, it was not Houston. It was DFW. It was Dallas, Fort Worth. Right across the street from our hotel was a strip club. Do not remember the name, but we remember. But when the bar shut down at 2, we're like, what are we going to do now? There's a strip club. Bro, we got there, and it was legs and eggs night. And we're like, what the fuck is this? Bro, they served the cover charge actually covered a full-on breakfast buffet at 2:30 in the morning. So I found this to be so interesting because the marketing behind this, I would love to know who came up with this idea and really executed it. So where they're sitting down, I'm chugging on water because I really didn't want to drink anymore. And I'm watching this dude a couple tables over, and he is getting this lap dance from this beautiful black woman, just stunning. And, dude, he is trying to get a spoon of eggs around this poor woman. And it looks like he's got Parkinson's. And because she's dancing on him, and the eggs are dribbling down the side of this woman's thigh. So it's like you want to take in this beauty of a woman, but all you can notice is the sliminess of these what used to be powdered eggs now dripping down her thigh. And I will say this, I am not a humongous fan of strip clubs. I love strip clubs that are super cheap, that the people who are dancing are train wrecks. Like I've been to one where there was an amputee.
Oh my.
Oh yeah, it was great. When they take the leg off, it's really something interesting. And then I love those places, and that was it. So whatever that place was across the street from that Holiday Inn, I don't know what your name was. If you ever see this for some reason, I want you to give me a call because I'd promote you guys to everyone.
That guy's my hero. I like that guy because women say that men can't multitask. That dude is proof that you can multitask.
I don't think he was multitasking. I don't even think he realized that woman was dancing on him. He just realized that there was either some
like,
earthquake
this chick
in his
is in
head.
my way.
And it was, dude, I mean, but the commitment
really
is what I
having trouble
respect.
with that mic,
It
aren't you?
keeps swinging back down. Like, I don't know.
I'm going to help you out here, bro.
Hold on, dude. Hold on. Oh, that's what it is, man.
What are you doing?
Because this needs to tighten up. Dude, I'm struggling so hard. I can just talk to it like this, right? Right to the side.
Well, that's how I'm talking to it.
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Like, Angle this shit. You haven't angled
No,
this
no.
part. Angle that part.
I don't know, man. I'm just gonna break. This is perfect. I think right there. Just I'm gonna turn it sideways so you can see my ugly face because it doesn't look 47. But the commitment level for this gentleman was through the roof. And again, the marketing ploy would have never executed that marketing stunt. But you know what? I applaud them for going the breakfast route at 2:30 because if there's something that I want to do at 2:30 is eat after I've been drinking all night.
I wonder how many people that would attract. Like, you know what I mean? Like, is that really that much of a draw card where it's like you add something to it to bring people in? I don't know how many people would be like, fuck, I am so hungry, but I really want to go to a strip joint. I'm going to choose food.
People love Golden Corral. People love strip clubs. Let's put them together.
American way. And we've wrapped up this podcast.
Wow. Full fucking circle.
Full circle.
Man, and how did that, we didn't even realize that happened. That was actually so amazing how that happened.
We're going to wrap that one up. So these ones, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. You get to, I don't know, escape a little bit, find out probably too much about me and Cid. If you liked it, let us know because, we're just testing out something to see if you guys want to be entertained at the start of the week or middle of the week. Haven't decided that part yet. And I'm still got plenty of guests coming on, interesting people. But we'll have some interesting stories. Ask us some questions too, like would you rathers, and give us some fucked up ones.
Oh my God, that would be great. And give us, and don't hold back. Like ask anything.
Yeah.
Ask anything.
Anything you like.
This is going to be very interesting.
No limits. Okay.
No limit soldiers. Back to the gold. The gold. Thank you guys for watching today. This has been great. Those aren't round of applauses.
Thank you guys. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification on YouTube and Spotify, and we'll penetrate your ears. Bye, guys.